All right, before we get into the actual documents that DNI Ratcliffe declassified regarding Crossfire Hurricane and John Brennan and Hillary Clinton, John Brennan was on the news yesterday talking, and the same day that these documents were released. And he didn't directly talk about the release of the declassified documents, but he did say something that was interesting. Let's take a listen.
You tell the story in your book of briefing, among others, Mitch McConnell in 2016 about the Russian interference in our election. And Mitch McConnell just reacted as if you were working suddenly for the CIA was suddenly working for the Democratic Party. Was that a moment that you could not have anticipated with Mitch McConnell? Was that the first turning point you saw with him?
Well, I think Mitch McConnell was always a very strong partisan fighter, which is his right as leader of the Republican Party in the Senate. But when he takes his support for Donald Trump to the point of refusing basically to accept and acknowledge the considered intelligence judgments of the CIA and the intelligence community, claiming that we were politicizing the process just to try to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. Yes, I think that he has abused his office. And unfortunately, people like Mitch McConnell and Devin Nunes, who were in and are in important positions in the Congress, continue to carry out Donald Trump's wishes.
All right, enough of John Brennan. Let's get into the important part of this news piece. All right, so as you probably already know, DNI Ratcliffe has declassified information. Now, this is per President Trump. So let's take a look at his Twitter, right? So just a few hours ago, President Trump tweeted out this: I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russia hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal. No redactions. So he doesn't want redactions. We're getting ready to move over to those documents, and unfortunately, there are redactions, but there's some juicy bits to it. So let's go on over there. All right, so before we get into the actual declassified documents, we're going to read the letter that was sent by DNI Ratcliffe on September 29th to Lindsey Graham. Chairman Graham, in response to your request for intelligence community IC information related to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, Crossfire Hurricane investigation, I have declassified the following. In late July 2016, U.S. intelligence agencies obtained insight into Russian intelligence analysis alleging that U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton had approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump by tying him to Putin and Russians' hacking of the Democratic National Committee. The IC does not know the accuracy of this allegation or the extent to which the Russian intelligence analysis may reflect exaggeration or fabrication. According to his handwritten notes, former Central Intelligence Agency Director Brennan subsequently briefed President Obama and other senior national security officials on the intelligence, including the alleged approval by Hillary Clinton on July 26, 2016, of a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. On September 7th, 2016, U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral to FBI Director James Comey and Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok regarding U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private mail server. As referenced in his 24 December 2020 letter to your committee, Attorney General Barr has advised that the disclosure of this information will not interfere with ongoing Department of Justice investigations. Additional declassification and public disclosure of related intelligence remains under consideration. However, the IC welcomes the opportunity to provide a classified briefing with further detail at your convenience. Respectfully, John Ratcliffe. Okay, let's go ahead and look at what Ratcliffe declassified. So here in the corner it says declassified by DNI Ratcliffe on October 6, 2020. Let's read through this. Counterintelligence Agency, Washington, D.C. This was dated September, it looks like 27th of 2016. I'm not sure about that. It's not that legible. Memorandum for Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Attention, Peter Strzok II, Deputy Assistant Director for Operations, Branch 1, Counterintelligence Division. Subject, Crossfire Hurricane. Reference, none. Okay, and as you can see, some of this is redacted, so you'll notice if you're just listening that there's areas that you'll wonder why, that doesn't make sense because it's redacted. Action required. The following information is provided for the exclusive use of your Bureau for background investigative action or lead purposes as appropriate. Please provide a copy of this memorandum to FBI agent, FBI officer information redacted. 2. Restrictions on use. This memorandum contains sensitive information that could be source revealing. It should be handled with particular attention to compartmentation and need to know. To avoid the possible compromise of the source, any investigative action taken in response to the information. And then classified by, derived from, declassified on. That's all redacted. All right. DOJ Rec 0000136. Subject, Crossfire Hurricane. Below should be coordinated in advance with Chief Counterintelligence Mission Center, Legal. It may not be used in any legal proceeding, including FISA applications, without prior approval, nor can it be included in any electronic database, study, or briefing, or as the basis for requirements for any other asset or source without approval of CIMC LGL. While the information may be shared with necessary investigative components of your organization, it should not be released in any form to any other organization or CIA component with prior approval of CIMC LGL. This information may not be uploaded into any CyberNet or CWICS-based system, irrespective of the classification level of the system. Per FBI verbal request, CIA provides the below examples of information the Crossfire Hurricane Fusion Cell has gleaned to date, source revealing information redacted. In exchange, discussing U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. According to open sources, Guccifer 2.0 is an individual or group of hackers whom U.S. officials believe is tied to Russian intelligence services. Also, per open sources, Guccifer 2.0 claimed credit for hacking the Democratic National Committee, DNC, this year. Please address all correspondence concerning this matter to the Counterintelligence Mission Center. Attention for the Assistant Director, CIA for Counterintelligence. All right, and that concludes that letter. All right, so the last piece we're going to go over is, this was declassified also by DNI Ratcliffe on October 6th of 2020. And this, you'll see, talks about Hillary Clinton. So let's get into it. Okay, this is heavily redacted. There's not much in here. This, of course, was declassified by DNI Ratcliffe on October 6th of 2020. All right, so I'm going to read this to the best of my ability. We're going additional might into Russian actions from, I don't know, we're going, or we're getting additional, I don't know, into Russian action from, okay? Site alleged approved by Hillary Clinton on July 26th or 28th of a proposed from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by the Russian security service. That's how I read it. PGTW, any entrance of collaboration between Trump campaign and Russia. Any evidence of collaboration between Trump campaign and Russia. Okay, and everything else is redacted. This last document was heavily redacted, and you and I both know what that means. There's a lot of real juicy information in there that AG Barr and Durham are more than likely reviewing. So we'll stay tuned for that. Thanks for stopping by the Daily Facts. Do like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Bye.